So how many psycho clowns do we want? Like 5, 10?
Probably not going to need more than 3 or 4. Because people, yeah, 5 at the most, because people can move back and forth.
Yeah, okay. How many people for the mask hall? Probably 2 or 3 or 4?
The masks.
Is this the creepy mask or
people
the white mask?
The white mask.
Because we gotta think about who's gonna be more permanent and who's gonna actually start moving.
We were thinking about doing a Jack-in-the-Box.
Oh yeah, the Jack-in-the-Box.
Oh, I like
big
that.
one. It would have to involve some woodwork.
Oh, kind of like
probably.
the Twilight Zone. Yeah.
Yeah, but it would be a giant wooden box with a top on it, and then it'd be actually like lined with black cloth. But one of the backs would just have black cloth on it. It would actually have a back. So there'd be someone like winding a giant crank along the side, just a masked person, silently winding it the entire time.
And it can make the creepy music. Like,
and you'd have the creepy music coming out somehow.
And he could be singing like really all along the mulberry bush.
Yeah, it's just like way out of tune, you know?
Yeah.
And all of a sudden the music stops, and the thing pops open, but no one's in there.
And then, so
then there's someone behind you.
All the tough, brave guys like look at it, but then there's nothing there. And they're like, oh, there's nothing in there. So then that gets all the scared people to look in, and then boom, clown pops through the back.
Oh.
yes.
Triple fake out.
Yes.
Wow, yeah.
Our haunted house was themed around a creepy circus, a creepy carnival, if you will, a creepy freak show. And basically, the idea is there is this traveling troupe of freaks, and the ringleader, who actually I played in the haunted house, acts as though there's nothing wrong with them, even though there's clearly lots of things wrong. For example, there's a mermaid that instead of having a fin, simply has her legs sewn together. The trapeze artist accidentally fell off the trapeze bar, but her arm stayed on the trapeze bar, so she's now armless. But me, being the ringleader, sees them all as beautiful creatures, and this is a wonderful show that everyone should see. It's the, eighth wonder of the world, and everyone should enjoy it. Okay, guys, so this is the really critical part. All right, this is our first meeting this year. We get really excited. We have some awesome ideas. There's a lot of work that needs to happen.
In 4 weeks.
Yeah, in 4 weeks. Okay, 4.5. All right, we have things to build. We have advertisements to make. We have organizations to petition. Once you have the idea, then you run into lots of other problems. Logistics. Well, we need props. How are we going to make those props? Do we even have to make them? Can we buy them somewhere? If we have to buy them, where do we buy them? How much do they cost? If we have to make them, where can we get the supplies? How much do they cost? Is it even feasible to build? These are some of the most basic problems that we had to deal with. There's also problems with people. You have tons of people who will say, oh, this is a haunted house. I'd love to help out with a haunted house. And I'm sure they all do, but things come up, people get busy, there's organizations. When we're recruiting, it's the first week of school, and so everyone's signing up for every organization, all the freshmen are joining 15 different things. And you can't expect to have, 70 people sign up and 70 people show up to your first meeting. So the other critical thing is we need manpower. We need help. Last year we had about 40 people who said they were interested and showed up to one meeting or another, or just said they were interested, and we had about
25 show up.
20 people show up at the beginning, and then we gradually abducted people to help out, and we had 25 at the end.
Yeah.
So we're going to be doing twice as much this year. We have 2 ballrooms instead of 1, and so we need people.
That's awesome. That's a lot more space.
Yeah, a lot more space. It's going to be awesome. We have all 3 ballrooms rented out, 1 for makeup and putting our stuff in, and we have the 2 ballrooms for our actual event, and hopefully we can get into them the night before so we can actually set up the night before.
Yeah. Is that our fake blood? That's our fake blood.
There's a skeleton in the closet.
Another old man mask. We have a Lindsay Lohan mask with some clown hair. We have a string of shrunken heads. Oh,
Yes.
we have a glow-in-the-dark skull.
It glows in the dark.
We sprayed it with that phosphorescent stuff.
Cool.
1, 2, 3, 4. We have 4 more bloody shirts. Severed fingers, a couple of styrofoam eyeballs, and we have 16 fluid ounces of fake blood. Ah! Bet you didn't see that one coming.
Har 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 har. I have.
Gonna scare you. We have about this much space to somehow fit in. We have like just that little amount of space to fit in our transition from this room to that room.
Right, because remember there's going to be a barrier over here. In order to reserve the ballrooms, it helps a lot if you have an organization with you, because they have priority. If you're just trying to use it as a student, then you can get ousted by literally anything else that wants to use the ballroom. So you have to have an organization co-sign with you. And we had UPC work with us last year, as well as Res Life, which I was a part of last year. And then now this year we used UPC again to sign off on our our ballroom reservation. So that's how we got the ballrooms. Now, the ballrooms are not ideal, especially since everyone on the university knows what the ballrooms look like. If you're trying to build a haunted house, something that's truly horrifying, really terrible and awesome, you need to have an atmosphere that's set that people can actually, like, once they walk in, they forget that they're, in the Union Building Ballroom B.
And we've gone from 2 ballrooms to 1 ballroom. We have had to cut like several characters because we just can't afford to make them look good. Like we've cut like probably half of the characters that we started with. Currently we have Two-Headed Girl tentatively as of right now. That's tentative because
The two-headed girl, the Siamese twins?
Yeah.
Okay.
We have a mango trapeze artist. We have a mermaid. I don't even know what we're doing with the creepy doll woman because we weren't able to get a dress. Well, actually, no, I do have a dress right now, but I don't know if we still have to run it by the person to see if it'll fit.
Who is it?
Lindsay.
Oh, okay.
So we need to figure out something with Lindsay.
Okay, well, if things don't fit, let me know ASAP so I can go shopping.
That's the thing. We can't go shopping anymore because we have no money.
We had talked with UPC, and they said they would give us funding again this year. They would be happy to fund us. Now, there was a little bit of ambiguity in that statement. We took it to mean that, yes, definitely we are going to get funding again next year. And UPC took it to mean, yes, we'll consider funding you again next year. And that actually caused a little bit of an issue this year when we were looking for funding, and we provided them with a list of the things we needed to buy, and they said that they don't know if they can give us any money. If we were a student organization recognized by Student Senate, we could get our own budget. And the only reason we didn't pursue that to the fullest last year is because we thought we had money already set aside by UPC. And so now that we know that that is not really the case, luckily this year UPC was able to fund us a little bit. We also got lots of generous donations. We were very creative in what we did. We also had lots of props from last year that we could reuse, which was really nice.
I talked to Kelly. Is there a magic button that lets me just choose things? Here, this is where the center ring is. We want to have the Hall of Mirrors.
When we build this haunted house, before we even build it, we have to have a digital model, like a scale digital model that Dave Sula, who's amazing with this kind of stuff, builds on his computer. So we actually can do a digital visual like walkthrough on his computer of the entire haunted house, like scale to like a meter in accuracy, or not a meter, like a centimeter. And so you take this scale model, and then we go and present that to the university. You actually present that to the head of UPC, the head of the union, several of the other coordinators for the facilities management who will be installing the pipe and drape, things like that. And that has to all get done before you can even consider actually building props and getting it set up. The pipe and drape, it's maybe, I don't know, 9 feet, 8 feet tall, like poles, and then they're connected by poles along the top, and then there's just like a drape or a curtain hanging across. And we used a lot of those because they're black, and they can be used as dividers for the haunted house. And that's really the only way we can get a good haunted house, because we can't exactly feasibly get a bunch of walls installed. So we have to use the pipe and drape. With the pipe and drape, we can have the actors actually moving between the walls. They can just go underneath the curtain. So you can have a haunted house that seems like there's 30 people in it when there's only 10. Nice to meet you. This is heavy. It's like... My role served two main purposes. One was introducing people to the haunted house, to the story, to what's going on in the haunted house, so they can kind of get the first glimpse of the atmosphere, because that's really important if you want to set a horror theme. And so I would introduce them and introduce the first couple of acts, and then they would go on throughout the haunted house. But the second thing that I would do is at the beginning of the haunted house, I would loudly ask them what their names were, how they were doing tonight, in a very, I guess, 1920s kind of circus ringleader voice. And that would serve to let everyone else in the haunted house know, all the other actors, several of the names of the group that's going through. And whenever the actors are actually shouting out names of the people who are actually going through, it makes it all the more surreal.
Here we go.
We're in Jersey, we lost these 15.
You don't know that? Yes.
Everybody heard it?
You wanted to see this.
Enjoy.
Well, they go in, but they don't seem to come out. They just love our
They're
show.
in there somewhere. We'll find them eventually. Very long.
A great time for everyone! Oh my god! Oh my god!
Are you ready?
Dude! Why the color?
All right, then follow me.
Thank you!
The number off the top of my head of students that attended, I can't remember, but I believe it was like 180 something. And then plus the actors, we had like 200 people that involved in this whole thing. And that's fantastic, considering we had a third of the budget that we did last year. And that's not including the repeats, because there are people who went multiple times, because every time someone goes in, they have to sign this waiver that allows them to, alleviates the university of any liability.
Okay. How bad is this that you need a signature?
But they only need to sign it once, so they can go in as many times as they want once they sign it. So we just counted up the signed sheets, and we had 180 some. A nearly 200% increase over last year with 33% of the budget. I think that's very efficient, and I think it worked out really, really well. I definitely heard from several people they really enjoyed it. It was a couple days later, even people were talking about it, and I think it worked really well this year.
Bye.